So what if I told you that the reverie begins with a lot of the Revolutionary Army and Monkey D. Dragon? What's good YouTube, my name is Smoksya. I'm bringing you another quick video on chapter 904 One Piece spoilers. So let's not waste any time, let's just dive into it. Let me explain to you what's going on and let me show you some scans along the way. So the first bit of news is right away we get to see the Revolutionary Army, and they have actually moved their base from Baltigo, because if you remember, the Blackbeard pirates definitely did some damage to the Revolutionary armies, and now they've moved to a place called Kamabaka Kingdom. And there we see that lots of revolutionary leaders like Ivankov and everyone else has gathered, and the big news here is that Monkey D. Dragon is gonna declare war against the Celestial Dragons at the Reverie. Now, if I haven't already mentioned in my last video where I was talking about the top 5 things to see in the Reverie, my number 1 item was Monkey D. Dragon and what's he gonna do at the Reverie. And one of the things I said was potentially war against the Celestial Dragons, and I also just said that seeing more of dragons is always a benefit. I think the video is going to be somewhere here. I'll pop it up. You should click it if you got a chance. So another funny thing is that we finally see who Monkey D. Dragon is talking about, where his world leaders are, and there's actually 4, and each of these 4 represent one of, the oceans. So North Blue, East Blue, South Blue, and West Blue, all prior to the New World. And these are, the 4 Revolutionary Army leaders that lead the group in their respective zones. So all these 4 characters appear in Lurachia Kingdom. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that kingdom is actually under attack against a character named Blackbeard with a bounty of 52 million. Now, Blackbeard is actually under the protection of our very own, everyone's favorite Blackbeard. So it's funny, you got Blackbeard, we've seen a brown beard, we know Whitebeard, may he rest in peace, and now we get Blackbeard. Blackbeard is clearly a dud, and I think he'll be taken care of quite easily by the Revolutionary Army. So let's go talk about the Revolutionary Army leaders and who they are. So from the West Army, we have a giant named Morley, and the only bit of information that we get is that his speech style is quite frightening, which is very cool to see that he's a giant, because we've seen more and more of these giants appear in the One Piece story. First we saw them, back with in the Alabasta arc, and then we see them more in Dressrosa, and then we see them more in Big Mom, and how they apparently have a huge impact on One Piece. So in the East Army, we have a female character named Bello Betty. I think I'm gonna put a picture of her right here. This is what I think she looks like. She is quite ruthless, as she calls the citizens of the kingdom trash because they are too scared to fight the pirates that are attacking, referring to Blackbeard, which is pretty funny because citizens typically don't have lots of power, and the Revolutionary Army seems to be, the voice of the citizens, and here we are, the leader of one of the oceans and one of the armies, basically calling all the citizens weak and trash. In the South Army, all we get is a character named by Lindbergh. I don't know which of the characters he may be, but there's literally no information about him. So in the last character we get is from the North Army. His name is Karasu, which means crow in Japanese, and he seems to be the character that Sabo was talking about in Dressrosa over the Den Mushis. So now we get to see all 4 of the commanders. I'm going to show you a little scan right here. Boop. That's how they look like. So another quick thing that's really funny is Bello Betty, one of the 4 commanders, actually has a devil fruit called the encourage fruit, and basically what I think it does is when she motivates or when she speaks to a crowd of people, they are encouraged to do what she says, or empowers them to rebel or fight back. So now we actually see a really cool transition on how these 4 revolutionary armies and how they work together. So first we see Bello Betty using her ability to say, choose your fate, you trash, fight or die, which encourages all the citizens to hey, we should definitely fight back against these pirates that are attacking. Then we see Lindbergh freeze the pirates with his pistol with a shot called Cool Freezer. Basically, I'm assuming it's going to be a frozen attack, or his gun is a devil fruit user by some chance, or maybe it's a technology that he invented, which actually, going through this, it actually states that Lindbergh does fight with the weapons he invents. So this is probably one of those cases. So that's pretty cool. He's able to manipulate elements with his guns and implement them in. And lastly, we see Karasu use his crows. So clearly he can manipulate crows to take away the swords and guns of the pirates and give them to the civilians to fight back. So lastly, the Revolutionary Army and the citizens beat Blackbeard, but Blackbeard says Blackbeard will get angry, to which Bello, and I already really like this character, says Blackbeard is not the type to get angry if his subordinates are defeated. And now the coolest part of this chapter is that we finally see kind of how the bounties work. So the citizens defeated Pinkbeard, who has a bounty of 52 million, and now the Revolutionary Army in Bellows says, take him in and take the prize from the world government for his bounty. Take the 52 million and do whatever you want with it. Now, how cool is that? She basically could have gone 52 million, but she refused. And the Revolutionary Army, another point is that they do not care about money. They clearly care about citizens and fighting for freedom. And there's another little text here that says, Bellows never disregards the weak citizens who have the courage to fight. So they don't really care if you're strong, weak, you know, whatever, fat, skinny, slow, fast. They care if you have the courage to fight back and to stand up for what is right in your country. And lastly, Bello and the Revolutionary Army basically give a paper to the citizens saying, if there's ever a problem again, call us, we'll be there. And then we get finalized with saying that the reverie is in 2 days. So a little snippet back in a summary on the 4 characters is that Morley is a play on word for Mori, which means, I think it says lance or harpoon in Japanese. Lindbergh is an inventor who fights with the weapons that he invents, like I previously said, and Karasu has a very hard way of speaking and it's very hard to understand him. So guys, I think chapter 904 is going to be a really good chapter. We finally get introduced to the Revolutionary Army. I think this Reverie arc is going to segue into a sub arc before Wano, where we're going to deal with the Revolutionary Army and find out more information about Monkey D. Dragon and follow their adventure and see how they, see how the Straw Hats integrate with the Revolutionary Army and potentially form an alliance. But one thing I want to say is that my prediction did come true about the Reverie, and it was the first chapter in, and is that my number 1 point was to see more of Monkey D. Dragon, see his revolutionary armies, see if he declares a war on the Celestial Dragons, and I highly encourage you guys to check that video out, because the other 4 points that I say have high chance of coming true as well. Link in the description. But anyway guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you click that like, comment so we can start a discussion. If you haven't already subscribed, it's free, so why not? And let's just start a discussion let's talk about chapter 904. Let's talk about how we're kicking off Reverie with a big introduction to the Revolutionary Army and the rest of the leaders. And as always guys, peace out.